This guy is trying to live forever. Are you a vampire?
Yes.
Why did you take your son's blood and put it in your body?
I mean, my son is here. Tell me, do you want to come say hi?
Blink twice if he tricked you into doing it.
Yeah. I have the best biomarkers of anybody on the planet. So if there were an Olympic sport for health, I would be the gold medalist.
Steve will do it is healthier than you.
Sleep is the most powerful drug. To demonstrate this, I achieved the best sleep score in human history. So there's 5 habits you want to do for sleep. I am happier than almost anybody. I think I have a more fulfilled life than anybody.
Well, you got me beat.
Like basically, I have already died. Bryan Johnson is dead.
What was Liver King's real name?
Yeah, Bryan Johnson.
Because, dude, he also sat on this podcast and said Bryan Johnson died.
Let me tell you the story real quick about Bryan Johnson. That guy's fucking
He's
gone.
dead.
2030 is going to make 2025 look like the 3rd century. We're all NPCs.
Who's the main character? Roman Reigns.
My internal body clock is 0.57. My birthday's every 21 months.
All right, so how much will Mike's Burger take off your life?
Roughly the same as 1 cigarette.
20 minutes.
Fine.
When you do things like binge eat at night, there's a calculation of how much you're actually dying.
You do that, Mike.
Well, you do too, you scumbag.
No, it's sick. Because you're right. No, what you're describing is right. I love potato chips. Bro, if I had a shake past 8 p.m., I would totally do it.
You drink
In and out, whatever. I like.
It was a thought experiment I did. So I sold Braintree Venmo, and the question was, like, what do you do? I had been working for this moment my entire life. At 21, I said, I want to spend my life doing something useful for the human race. I didn't know what. So I said, okay, I'll become an entrepreneur. I'll make a whole bunch of money. And then with money, I'll decide what to do. So that was the moment. Like, it arrived. I had $300 million in my bank account. What do you do? And I did 2 things. One is I organized a bunch of dinners with my smartest friends. And I said, I'm going to give you a thought experiment. I want to hear your answers. So I said, let's imagine we exist in 2050. And we're in that year. We're like, this existence is amazing, like better than anything we ever imagined. What did we focus on in 2016 to make that possible? And then people would offer their insights. And like, unsurprisingly, they would say all the things you would expect people to say in like a current time and place. There's like a zeitgeist of ideas, right? The same ideas, pattern, just repeat again and again. Yep. So I held 12 dinners. The ideas were the same in every single dinner, right? Like exact same. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna write down all these ideas. I'm gonna put a box around it and say, I can't do anything inside this box. Nothing. Like I can't, any idea that's currently being worked on, I can't do it. I have to find something outside the box. And so I was like, okay, so now I know what not to do. The question is now what to do. So then I did a second thought experiment. I imagined being present in the 25th century. So now you're there a few hundred years into the future. They're looking back at this time and place. And they have, of course, all the benefit of this vantage point. And they say, what did Homo sapiens do, us Homo sapiens in the year 2020s, that made existence exist in this part of the galaxy? And so in that thought process, you have to realize while our lives are rich and fun and we're all busy, they're going to compress our entire century into like 2 things.
This is it. Continue. I love this.
So like we look back to the 3rd century, we're like, yeah, one thing happened in the 3rd century. Like even though there was like millions of people with like political drama and economic drama, and like so much happened, one thing happened. So history compresses information to this like teeny tiny amount of
Industrial revolution.
Yep.
You know,
Yes,
like the
exactly.
printing press.
Exactly.
There you go.
We will be the internet.
Exactly.
Like we will be the internet. That's what will be defined.
Exactly. So when they say this, like what happened? And so they compress our entire thing. I think they say 2 things. They say that's when Homo sapiens gave birth to superintelligence. And that's when Homo sapiens figured out they're moving towards a horizon of perpetually extending their lives.
I love
moving
this.
past death being inevitable to like, it's like you think about this, like we've always imagined that God created us, like that we are in his image. But the irony always rules. It's why I'm gonna die in the most ironic way possible. We know this is why. Like we are giving birth to God, right? Like AI has all the characteristics that we've imagined God to have, all knowing, all powerful. Now, over some time duration, AI is going to be capable to a degree which we can't quite comprehend. Now, in that situation, like intelligence arises, like what is it? The first thing it does, what does it do? It wants to make sure it secures its existence, right? It's going to like size up, like what is the energy source of the universe? Like what is the battery capacity of this universe? How much energy can I harness? And it's going to be like, and how do I eliminate threats that compromise my existence?
Dude.
That's what you do when you're intelligent.
I want to like really dive into that too. But like, I don't want to move too much off longevity because at some point in this episode, I want to talk about like, okay, you like everyone else. There's this a man, I can't remember his name, who wrote a book called Cassandras. It was about all of the Cassandras of world times in history, people that were that warned us about something, the Trojan horse, about the things that were going to happen. Everyone involved with AI is warning us about AI right now. So what the fuck are we doing, dude? Like, hey man, if this thing were to escape the sandbox, guess what? It's going to. Like, it's going to escape the sandbox, as I always use, the analogy I always use, as it lays its artificial intelligence foundation, human civilization will simply be an anthill that it needs to roll over. There will be no decision making.
The Tesla bomber allegedly posted on 4chan about how AI has already escaped the sandbox. And that's what the New Jersey drones are.
All right, sorry, relax.
Just conspiracy, extremely conspiratorial. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying I think we're here. I think we're like moments away from.
I agree.
Yeah,
I want to stay. The one thing I'm thinking about today is like, how do we apply this conversation to the people watching this, and there's a lot of them in our audience that don't do $10 million dinner thought experiments, that aren't thinking about the first flight out to Mars. And I want to make sure that as much of absorbable data that can come out of this episode for people that are in Tuscaloosa or wherever they are out there right now can actually take
we will bring it all together.
Okay,
we will make the very clear daily habits and how it maps to this larger thought experiment. It's all one thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So to bridge that, I'll bridge it to practical. So the idea here is that 2030 is going to make 2025 look like the 3rd century.
Really?
Yes.
That quick.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Why?
UAP?
I mean, if you say like the core premise is that basically, like when you guys came here today, you probably came in a car and you probably put my address in the car and then in the navigation app, right? And it said like drive down the street, take this path, because I had information about traffic and streets. Nobody pulled out a map. Nobody had the streets memorized. So you said yes to an algorithm because it was better at that function than you are, right?
Yep.
So algorithms are built to do a variety of things for us. It's to drive our social feed. It's to get directions. It's to give us programming. Like algorithms do things on medical data, right? Algorithms do many things. So algorithms do things that we humans do, and we say yes to them when they do them better than we can. Over a very short period of time, algorithms are going to be better at us at almost everything, if not everything.
Yeah.
They will be better at being you than you are you.
Huh? No.
Yes.
No.
So
What do you mean? No.
wait,
no,
so we're gonna get sucked
no one
into
on
the
this
algorithm?
godforsaken planet is better at being me than me.
So I mean,
Machines can be.
No, it can be.
so if you just let's take a training model. Let me say, we're going to take everything Logan Paul has ever done. Yep.
Everything?
Everything you've ever done. Everything. And we're going to say,
I shouldn't
okay,
laugh,
like
actually.
how would Logan Paul, like this would be a cool experiment. How would Logan Paul conduct this interview? Like what questions would he ask? How would he respond? What facial expressions would he say? What jokes would he make? And so while you experience yourself as this highly original character in life, like we all do, we're all NPCs. Right? Our patterns are all so similar.
Who's the main character? Roman Reigns. Wait.
Something.
Well, and you want to know the scary part about
Like
it?
this, I'm an NPC? No.
The crazy part about it with where you're going with this, which is absolutely true and horrifying, they don't have bad days. They don't have days where they wake up slightly depressed or a little tired or whatever like we do, and we have to try to battle through it. So on those days where you're only 70% effective, that machine that acts like you is 100% effective and way better than you probably in the bedroom.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's true.
And so like you just take that and then so it being a pattern system of you, then it gets to pull in all data of the human race has ever discovered to say, how would we interview Bryan Johnson? You're like, what are all the questions that have ever been posed? What does the story in the interline say? What do people care about for a sentiment? Like information you don't have. Like it's a navigation app, right?
Yeah.
They know traffic patterns, they know streets. And so you just start piecing these things together and that changes everything about our existence. And you can make many of those arguments where it's just inevitable. It's already here. Like these systems are so good.
To a fault. And this is what saves us. And eventually this will break down as well, but I don't think it will be by 2030. You tell me a story about a close friend who's passed away. my ability to really formulate an empathetic response to that cue or to that proc query, whatever you want to call it, is intuitive to me, and is going to take some time for the robots and the AI to get like it's just going to say, I'm sorry. Well, maybe you will make a new friend. Like, but it'll sound more like a human. I don't know why I gave it a robot voice, because they just sound like us now. But like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, I think there's a good amount. Now, so you believe that there's going to be so much progress between 2025 and 2030 that 2030 will look like the third century. Now, let me ask you the question.
2025 will look like the third century.
Sorry, my bad. 2025 will look like the third century. Why have we not had a 5-year span like that ever before? And what makes the next 5 years so incredibly expedited?
Yeah, it's our ability to increase intelligence. Like, we have always been the apex of intelligence for humans have. AI now is, as smart or smarter than us in many domains. And the rate at which it's improving is an exponential or near exponential.
Yeah.
Whereas we humans we get better tools. But like, you just have to like, all this to say, like, you can disagree with me that maybe it's not 2030, maybe it's 2035, maybe it's 2050, whatever. Like, on the larger scale of like galactic time, it's now.
Yeah.
So the only point I'm making is to say change is happening insanely fast. We can't know what's happening. Nobody knows whether they can express a positive opinion or a negative opinion. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So if things are changing fast, the question is, what do we do as a species? That is the only question in existence that matters. Nothing else matters right now.